Hello, I'm Haley, and today we're going to be talking about Attack on Titan Season 3. So let's get right into it. Season 3, what are my thoughts? Overall, Season 3 was still good. However, I was warned ahead of time that it was either Season 2 or Season 3 was going to be an ordeal to get through because it was, quote, boring. While I don't think that is true, I've gotta say, I don't think it's boring. I do have to say, they were definitely talking about Season 3 because the pacing this season is very, very different from the last two seasons. The action is a lot more there's a lot more politics and build-up between action sequences this season compared to other seasons. Now, does it pay off? Absolutely. A lot of very high points in this season. Especially info. We got a lot of info this season. And this is actually quite a long season compared to the last one. I think it was still shorter than the first season though. But it just felt like there was a lot to digest here. So I'm going to do my best to try and keep track of it all mentally. But if I do miss anything, hopefully my shorts where I go episode by episode are a little better. Some highlights from this season. We did end up getting a little bit more elaboration on Historia, who she is, what her family's about, what's her big deal, what's Aaron's big deal, what's the deal with his power, how does it work, where does it come from, who are the Titans, who or what are the Titans. I would say my favorite part of the season, well, first let me say my least favorite part is the stuff with Kenny and his group. I didn't care for it too much. It's not that it was bad, but I thought we were going to get more out of, it's weird, we got a lot of Levi in the first half of this season, but also not enough. Maybe I'm spoiled from the quality of One Piece flashbacks that I get, from watching One Piece, and the quality of, I just came from Jujutsu Kaisen before Attack on Titan, and that Gojo flashback was really, high quality, lots of depth to it. So, perhaps I, like I said, have been spoiled. And maybe just a quick episode, not even a full episode flashback of Levi. Maybe it's actually fine, but I just felt especially the way the opening made it seem and you know what I will say too, even actually, to be honest, this whole first half of the season with all the Kenny stuff was more Levi centered. It felt more like Levi was the main character. Maybe I'm just not that into Levi. Maybe that's the thing. I also, speaking of Levi, or piggybacking off of that, something I definitely noticed, and at this point to where I was making jokes about it, is Commander Irvin will go out of his way to Aura Farm. This man lives to Aura Farm. And I just once I started noticing it, I couldn't unnotice it. It seemed like every time he was on screen, he was trying to Aura Farm. With that scene with the lighter, and he's talking to his MP friend, or even last season when he gets his arm taken and he's being dragged by that Titan, but he's charge. This is the ultimate battle for humanity, and every time it's always, this is the ultimate battle for humanity. This is the most important battle for all of humanity. All right, Irvin. You're aura farming. You're aura farming again, Irvin. Let's chill out a little bit. All right, to the point where when it came down to, do they save Armin or do they save Irvin? To me, it just makes more sense to save Armin, because, I don't know, I feel like Armin's plans actually work out. And Irvin's plans, it's are they good ideas sometimes? Yeah, I like his little formation thing, that was cool when that was introduced, and like the way that works, like I think that's solid for, you know, the technology that they have. But like most of his plans are just, I'm gonna gamble. I'm gonna gamble. We're gonna put people's lives at risk. People are gonna die for sure. And it's like, okay, all right. Evan, you got most of the scouts completely annihilated. And his last plan, like the last plan he comes up with before he dies is, okay, we're all gonna charge straight at the Beast Titan. We're just gonna keep charging, and every single one of us is gonna die. It's just gonna be you, Levi, but you're gonna be able to take down the Beast Titan. What the fuck for? Why? Why do we... I get that he's very powerful. He's like, you know, he was a menace, don't get me wrong. Like, when it finally came time for the Beast Titan to throw down, he lived up to the hype for sure. I mean, we're down to 9 scouts, or some small single-digit number like that. Like, we are down to, like, basically no scouts, okay? But at the same time, how much of that is because Erwin was like, alright, everybody on this side of the wall, we're just gonna charge the Beast Titan, and then we didn't even kill the Beast Titan. He's still on the loose. He is still a threat. What was it all for? What was it all for real? Alright? Meanwhile, Armin's plan got Berthold captured. Berthold, I don't know. Fucking Birdie. Fucking face of Attack on Titan, apparently. Got the Colossal Titan captured. And then kind of a mixture of Armin, Hanji, and Jean. Like, we're all contributors to Reina being defeated. Albeit, Reina does ultimately not die. He ends up getting saved by the quadruped and the Beast Titan. And it's like, who, by the way, I still think looks like Edward Elric's dad. Less so now, but still a little bit. Like, I'm still gonna call him Edward Elric's dad in my head. But like, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, in the end, you had an entire army versus what was essentially these 4 guys and some basic bitch-ass Titans. And the only ones that didn't walk away were the basic bitch-ass Titans. Oh, my bad. Were the basic bitch-ass Titans and Berthold. On the tail end of things, I do wonder if we're gonna get some elaboration on this whole, like, memory thing going on with Eren. I did think, the flashback with Grisha, like that, all that stuff, I did think it was interesting, and I think we got a lot of information out of it, so much so that, like, I almost feel like I should have taken better notes. Like, I think the owl guy said that there's, like, 9 servants of Ymir, or 12 servants of Ymir. I do remember that they only have something like 13 years to live. Which I don't understand the dynamic here. Like, who classifies as a servant of Ymir or a Titan of Ymir or whatever it was called? And also, on that subject, so Ymir, the character that we know, like from the cadet group, I think this might have been mentioned, but is she named after Ymir? Or is she Ymir? Like, is there some relation there? Also, I don't remember who or where or when, but I saw something on the internet about, like, there being time travel in Attack on Titan, and I thought it was a bit. Like, I thought somebody was just trolling, and then, like, now I'm wondering if, like, Eren Kruger is Eren Yeager, but, like, I don't want it to be true. But I fear that that's a possibility now. So, you know, fingers crossed that that's not what happens, because that will ultimately bring Attack on Titan backwards. Well, at least Season 4 will bring it backwards for me. Actually, yeah, it might bring the whole series down for me, because I'm not a fan of time travel. by any means. Like, it just overcomplicates things. There's almost always, I can't think of an instance where time travel being introduced did not create some sort of plot hole, or plot convenience, or plot inconvenience, or like, it always muddies the story up quite a bit. In my experience, I can't think of a scenario where time travel being introduced didn't make things worse, or just, I guess, to be more specific, didn't make things more messy, more complicated, but not complicated for the sake of adding quality to the story, complicated in a needless fashion, where it feels like we're just creating either plot holes or just like unnecessary. I can't really think how to describe what I mean, but like there's like this unnecessary complexity. Like, for me at least, it takes away from a story, like when you add time travel to it and add all the complications that come with it. And I think the closest thing to something that has time travel as a part of the story, that where it doesn't like set the story back for me, would be the two N64 Zelda games. Which, even those, like Majora's Mask, it still does kind of complicate things a little bit for me. Like, it still does hold it back a little bit for me, but it's, the story itself is good enough that I kind of like just brush it to the side. And I guess that's kind of the same with Ocarina of Time. But other than that, like, I can't think of another instance where time travel did not just completely take me out of the story a little bit. I kind of don't understand how Aaron's, like, Titan, like, is it that he has two different abilities? Does he have the Attack Titan's abilities and the Founding Titan's abilities, the coordinate? Is the coordinate and the Founding Titan the same thing? Is it just that he's like an intelligent Titan because he ate somebody and he happens to be the coordinate? Like, I don't really understand. I really don't. So hopefully that gets answered in Season 4. The battle between Aaron and Berthold and Armin and all them, I think that was probably like my favorite battle, or like fight, whatever you want to call it, of the season. Just because I feel like, first of all, like, having to figure out how to defeat the Colossal Titan, I thought that was, like, I thought the way that they went about doing that was intriguing. Oh, speaking of Titan battling, I'm glad that Aaron finally has some sort of proficiency improvement with the Titan, with his Titan form, because, like, with the armor hardening stuff, because it was so frustrating the previous two seasons how Aaron's Titan ability was basically like almost always useless, because he was just so like green as a Titan, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, his inexperience was frustrating, and it almost, there were a lot of times where it was like his Titan ability was almost a hindrance more than a help sometimes. Still holding out hope for Annie. I don't know where she is or if she's ever going to be reintroduced to the story, but holding out hope that you know, Annie turns around or even just comes back into the narrative, because I did like her when she was in the narrative. Sad to see Commander Irvin go, but at the same time, you know, his days of aura farming are done. Levi did get some character growth this season, but I'm not all that more attached to him than I was the previous two seasons. Kenny, didn't like him. Aaron, we're seeing improvements all around, like all across the board with Aaron. Although I will say that, like, tween stage where he's kind of like super like depressed and like ready to die, after the whole, like, get eaten after the whole debacle with him and Historia in that room where they're getting ready for the ceremony. Like, that got old very quick for me. But this kind of, I'm gonna say this new Aaron, and I mean the new Aaron, like, right up until the last episode, because then it's another new Aaron. But this new Aaron with kind of more of a confidence and an understanding of his abilities and his role, and this kind of more humble Aaron. Like, he's not carrying the world on his back anymore. He's more like just, pulling the cart along with the rest of the group. I like this version of Aaron more. Now we have a new Aaron who, like, he just looks so completely defeated by the end of this season. Like, it just seems like nothing matters anymore to this new Aaron, and maybe that is the case. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll just have to wait and see. I am excited for this final season, but I have a feeling that shit is gonna go down next season. And obviously I've been transparent that throughout this that I do know of the rumbling. I don't know exactly what it is. I think my partner corrected me that the rumbling wasn't 50% of the population, it was 80% of the population. And if that's true, that's wild. But we'll just have to see when I get there. Oh, and Armin's a Titan now. I can't believe I almost walked away from the video without acknowledging that. Yeah, Armin apparently has the potential. No, well, not has the potential. It's true. Armin is going to be able to turn into the Colossal Titan, or Armin is going to be just a regular Titan, but with Colossal Titan abilities like the heat muscle thing. Unsure, haven't seen him in his Titan ability at all yet. So, we'll just have to wait and see what comes of that. But yeah. The Ackerman thing was finally acknowledged. I have been complaining about how we don't know what's the deal with Levi and Mikasa, how they are related, if they're related, to the point I had to Google if they're their last names to confirm that I wasn't crazy. Like, they do share the same last name, and now we know that Ackerman is more of like a clan, and I think Mikasa is going to hit a serious downward spiral now that it's been revealed that Eren only has like 8 years left to live or something like that. So yeah, that's about where we're at with the show. I'm excited for season 4, and I will see you guys there. Thank you for listening. Sorry for the delay in videos between season 2 and 3, like the length of time. Life is doing life things right now for me, so until things settle down, I can't guarantee how consistent I'll be able to be with videos, but I am trying to get back on track. There just might be some hiccups over the next, I think, a month or so. So bear with me. I'm sorry about that. Thank you so much for listening. I can't wait to see you next time. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye. It seemed like every time he was like on screen,